Hi guys, so today I'm at the premises of NASA Italia, and a few months ago you have seen me review the Ferrari SF90 Stradale. Today we are being shown something a bit special. Inside this truck is the SF90 Spider.
You save about 1,000 plus.
To work out cheaper for me.
3,000-4,000.
215, even more.
It's for 200 plus. 400 bucks of savings. So NASA Italia had planned this truck as a vehicle to do official, pre-launch previews, to bring the demo car inside there around to be shown to various members of the media in separate sessions. But because the lockdown suddenly came about, so all we had to do was to come here to the NASA Italia premises, take turns, right? Each media is given a 1.5 hour slot to view and touch and feel the car, each of us in isolation. And of all things that's happening, it's drizzling. Okay, so the anticipation is there. I think I've said before, the SF90 to me is one of my favorite design Ferraris in recent, modern Ferrari. And this Spider version, to see the Spider version in person, wow. Okay, now this, honestly, this is special. This experience, the way they craft this feels special. It befits the car. If you stand here, you can see the proportions, the silhouette is the same. But of course, unlike the coupe, the Spider here has this. The roof of the Spider is powered. Alright, so Ferrari representative Farhan has gotten inside the car, and he's going to show us the opening of the roof. Now, the unique thing about this roof is that firstly, it's very light, it's aluminum, and look at that, it's a very simple, very elegant, very compact mechanism. So apparently the overall usage of space of this entire mechanism is just 100 liters, which is, if you compare it with some of other equivalent mechanisms out there that take about 150 to 200 liters of space, this is very, very lightweight. Right, so as we saw earlier, this retractable hardtop of the SF90 Spider needs just 14 seconds to fully open or to fully close, and you can operate this on the move, although I presume up to a certain maximum speed. And of course, this window here can be raised when the hardtop is lowered in order to minimize the wind buffeting effect as the car moves. The other noteworthy thing about this mechanism is that it is compact, it is lightweight. It weighs 40 kilograms less, Ferrari claims, than a conventional hardtop of a similar function. So thanks to the compact dimensions of the roof mechanism, this is the first Ferrari Spider since the F430 that has a glass cover that allows you to see through to the engine. Now if you look closely under here, you would notice that there are gaps inside here. All right, all these holes are put there in place because the roof mechanism now sits here, impedes with, it affects the flow of air inside the engine bay, and as a result it also affects the cooling of the engine. So these vents, these holes are placed here for better airflow out of the engine bay, for better cooling of the engine. Okay, so other than the roof, the SF90 Spider under the skin is exactly the same as the SF90 Stradale. Even the chassis is identical. The SF90 Spider does not require any additional underside bracing compared to the Stradale. Why? Because Ferrari had built this platform, this chassis, already with this Spider variant in mind. The underlying stiffness, the natural stiffness of this chassis had taken into account the need for this structure already. So it is already naturally stiff enough for Ferrari's use. Okay, and of course we have to talk about the powertrain setup that we have discussed before in the when reviewing the SF90 Stradale, but we'll recap quickly here. So inside, well, somewhere in here is Ferrari's 3.9 liter V8 twin turbo that is connected to an 8-speed dual clutch transmission. Now between the engine and the transmission is an electric motor that functions mainly for brake energy regeneration. And you come to the front axle, each wheel has an individual electric motor. So the front and rear axles, they are not mechanically connected, but of course the three propulsion units, they are made to function in unison thanks to software calibration. And when you drive the SF90 in pure electric mode, the drive only comes from the front motors. And a clever little trick that Ferrari has done is that when you engage reverse, it is the motor that does the job of reversing. So it means that the 8-speed DCT can be made less complex by removing the reverse gear altogether. So the transmission does not have a reverse gear. Reverse function is taken care of purely by the electric motor. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Okay, so we check out the interior of the SF90 Spider. Basically the same interior as the Stradale. So, well, here's the flat bottom steering. Engine start-stop is a touch surface rather than a button. But of course the drive mode selector switch, rotary knob here, and you can see a fully digital instrument display that is still also reminiscent of, well, traditional old school, well, not so much old school, but, well, previous gen modern still analog dials. Okay, and you can, not sure if you can see up there, there is the heads-up display here. Everything else is touch operated. Climate control touch operated. That screen there is dedicated for the passenger because this is all driver oriented. Very simple design. All right, and down here you can see power window switches, roof switch. This is the gear selector switch that is evocative of past generation Ferrari manual, the iconic Ferrari manual gated shifters. All right, and check out the seats. Very thin seat backs, but very body hugging design, very sporty, very track focused.
Forgive me, I didn't understand
design.
What you said.
Alright, so here the door card. Here carbon fiber inserts. This is the door opener switch.
How can I help you?
And there you have it. It's the interior of the SF90 Spider. So if you think about it, right, it's pretty amazing. The SF90 Spider, it is essentially a no compromise drop the top, because typically with convertibles, with roadsters, with cabriolets, you have to sacrifice a bit of chassis stiffness because you chop off the roof. And sometimes in some convertibles, when you either open the roof or close the roof, something is not quite right with the proportions. But with the SF90 Spider here, Ferrari has managed to make this car proportionally just as attractive as the Stradale, B, no sacrifice of chassis stiffness, structural integrity is uncompromised, and C, with a roof mechanism that is lightweight and compact, so no weight penalties either, no need for additional bracing under the chassis. So as we said earlier, the SF90 Spider is, well, practically identical to the Stradale other than the roof mechanism, but let that not stop us from admiring the details all the same. So this front nose, okay, very aggressive, subtle, not overflowing with details per se, but looks menacing enough. And the way this front end sharpens up, all right, together with this this underwing here, it reminds us of Ferrari's background in F1. Okay, and of course no mistaking these headlights for anything else. So the headlight cluster, it actually terminates here, but they allow it to visually join with this functional vents, okay, that allow air to go in. Now these, you come here, these wheels, they are designed this way. You can see this tips here, they are the shape of aerofoil, and what they do is that they actually meant to drive air inwards to cool the brakes. Okay, so up here you can see this is the VIN number of this particular car, and well, they made it they designated it as a hybrid vehicle. And you come to the top of the dash, you can see, well, this car has heads-up display, and even here, the cluster area here, when you look at it from the top, such magnificent detail at the top part of the dash. All right, so side mirrors, and look at how the paint, the lines, how beautifully the sunlight is just bouncing off the paint. Very, very vibrant color. Okay, and you can see it, the side profile here, right? There's not an overflowing amount of detail, but still, it looks nicely sculpted. Okay, it's almost artisan-like. And up here, well, it's being the Spider. You can see the two buttresses up here together with the shark's fin antenna, and here is another well, opening here to let hot air from the engine bay escape upwards. Okay, so you can see there are two caps. One side is for refueling, the other side is for you to plug in and charge the car at home. So here at the back, right, so the quad tail light design, but it's a bit it's a hexagonal shape, right? Looks nice. And check out the rear diffuser element. Once again, a very aggressive design, evokes memories of Ferrari's F1 exploits. And there's this little subtle opening here as well for more airflow. Okay, so all this is a mesh pattern here to give it a bit more of a functional look, and the exhausts are purposefully placed, well, almost at waist level of the car. And something I like from the Stradale that's carried over here is how the head of the horse peaks slightly upwards. Now you would imagine that there would be a slight aerodynamic penalty here, but I think Ferrari allowed themselves to indulge a little in this little design Easter egg. So this is very, very nice. Okay, and yeah, so overall the SF90 Spider here, the SF90 Stradale itself is already a very attractive looking car, and this one just knocks it off the park, being even more epic. Okay, I imagine that it's little different to drive than the SF90's Stradale, except for the fact that you have the option of opening up the top. My recollections of driving the SF90 Stradale is that this car, the setup of this car it's amazing how well it is calibrated, how the 3 power units, engine in the middle, the 2 electric motors, they respond as one, they breathe as one. So when you step on the accelerator, you feel as if it's just one engine doing all the job. Okay, so it's brutally fast, but amazingly very drivable on a day-to-day basis. So I would say as a whole it is a very complete supercar. All right, and honestly, in this Spider, guys, this Ferrari, I think they absolutely nailed it. They absolutely nailed it. Wow, just wow. And on this note, that concludes my brief walk around of this car. What a spectacular car to be in a way. What a way to sign off one last time before we enter lockdown. Okay, so guys, take care out there, stay safe. I'll see you in the next video.
Baju, kasut, slipper. Semua dah ada. Let's go. Woi, Jen! Banyak enam barang. Lagi mana tu? Adalah rahsia. Kak Nam pergilah habiskan potong bawang tu dulu. Kereta baru. Tak pernah nampak pun. Pakcik! Pancing anak ikan kan? Anak ikan? Bapa ikan! Harimau makan dodol? Makan dodol lah! Pisang. Sedap ni pisang ni. Oi, mak kau hidup. Jangan picit-picit. Yang lain boleh pilih. Yang ini saya punya. Okey. Dodol, ikan, pisang, banyak lagi lah. Mak? Kakak! Nenek tak ada. Dia kata dia pergi KL, rumah kakak. Mak, pergi KL? Kakak janganlah nangis. Nak susu?
Kelakarlah cerita bonda ni.
Boleh cerita lagi. Cerita lagi Lepas tu kan, bonda pandu kereta naik bukit, bonda jumpa beruang buat ketupat pula.
your ambition. Mitsubishi Motors.